What is the best food for when you run out in the nether? The answer is mushroom stew. What's the most fun block to make a house out of if you've never tried it? That's right, it's mushroom stew, and the weirdest farm that you can make and conceivably fit anywhere in your world, it's mushrooms again. Hello, I'm AbbyXToyCat, and this is your ultimate guide to copyright infringement. But also, mushrooms as well. They are one of the most mysterious blocks in Minecraft. Everyone knows about the mushroom biome, and everyone knows that you can make 34 different things from them, but you might not know how to farm these or how they truly actually work, but they actually are a lifesaver in so many scenarios, and so let's guide you through how to find, farm, and facilitate each of these little fun mushrooms that exist. So let's start with how you find them, because officially, mushrooms generate in areas with light levels of 12 or below, which means you should find them in caves, but fun fact, because of a bug that's existed since caves and cliffs, you can't actually find them there, and so in theory this is great, but in reality you're going to need to go to one of these biomes. If you do, you can find mushrooms on any of these blocks at any light level. However, it's worth keeping in mind that if you want to find mushrooms on any other block, they can generate naturally there, but you can't place them, and if they do end up there somehow and you break one, it will amazingly be broken just by being in too much light. Mushrooms like darkness. This is based on the real world, I've been told, and so if you want to actually find them, try to look for any of these blocks in any of these biomes. The swamp, that's a classic. The old growth spruce taiga, or by the way, or you can find them below trees where the light level's lower. The old growth spruce taiga and the old growth pine taiga have these giant trees with a lot of darkness that you can find below. The mushroom fields has a lot of good examples, but I'm sure you're not missing mushrooms there. But the nether biomes are the ones that many people sleep on. This is incredible. This is the life changer. Using just your manual inventory crafting grid, you can, I have to get myself a brown mushroom, but there's one right here. You can create food at any point, either with automatic crafting or literally by throwing a bowl, a brown mushroom, and a red mushroom right here. You can craft so much food, and as soon as you're gone, you can craft more. It has gotten me out of so many spicy situations, but just in case you can't even get the spice to begin with, how can you get mushrooms also? Here are some other weird fun ways you might not have thought of. So, weird ways to get mushroom number one: if your friend or you bring up a mushroom home, you could actually shear him. I mean, you probably should just bring the mushrooms back from the mushroom biome, but still, you could shear him, and this isn't a good idea. I mean, the cow is less attractive than his mushroom cousin. No offense, mate. But also, specifically if he's struck by lightning, he's not going to give you a brown mushroom. And also, you can't milk him to get mushroom stew. You can milk him regularly, but still, it's a big downside in my opinion. You can shear a bog too, but for what it's worth, when you do this, you get brown mushrooms, but he doesn't turn back into a regular skeleton, as you can see from the poison damage we just took. You can also find mushrooms in and around a witch hut, so you can find them spawning here, but you can also find them in these little pots. Fun fact, by the way, if you ever are in a witch hut, there actually is a potion pot right here that you can bring a glass bottle to and get yourself a lovely potion of poison. Okay, I don't need to simulate being attacked by a bog, but what I do need to simulate is the fact that you can find mushrooms on fallen logs, 1 or 2 will always generate, or in trial chambers, if you happen to be there anyway. You can also find podzol next to the bog spawners. You can also then use any of these different opportunities to find regular mushrooms, and then you can use these to make giant mushrooms. Now, giant mushrooms are interesting because they do spawn naturally in either the roof forest, the swamps, or the mushroom shores, and you can use these basically as small mushrooms. If you destroy them, you have this % chance of getting a mushroom back, if you have a non-fortune hoe that is, and so, wow, look at that, we've got a fun way to get some extra mushrooms. But yeah, bone mealing a mushroom will make a giant one, which is very handy when it comes to silk touching them and getting building blocks for your next weird project. Next up, we've got crimson and warp fungus. These can be found in abundance across the warped and crimson forest, only in the nether. This is the main way that 99% of you will find it, but this is the ultimate guide. You know, this isn't the vague guide to mostly getting things done. This is the ultimate guide, and so as well as finding these fungi in their relevant biomes, you might find a bastion first, and bastions do technically contain some crimson fungus. Is that useful for you to know? Well, I mean, that's your decision. But yeah, you can bone meal these just like the regular mushrooms, but unlike regular mushrooms, they give you not just never warp or warp never warp blocks, but also they'll give you this type of wood. It's not ever called a type of wood, and Mojang will always be clear that this is actually stem blocks right here, but they function like wood in every single way. You know, like you can make planks for them, etc, etc. They're wood in every single way, except you can't fuel a furnace with them, and you can't make boats with them because there shouldn't be boats in the nether. And so it's a brand new type of wood is what I'm saying right here that you can get and that you can farm, but it functions a bit like a tree farm. There's no automatic or even semi-automatic way to chop these down. You might as well just traverse new biomes, otherwise it's the same amount of effort. However, regular mushrooms can be farmed in two ways. The first of which is you can do the same thing, grow them and then chop them down, ideally using either a fortune or a silk touch hoe. This ensures you get more mushrooms when you do get mushrooms. And also, or it means you can get the blocks if you want to, but the second thing that you can do is you can farm them like so. This is a really fun farm design for mushrooms. Presuming that you have a bunch of mycelium and dark spots for them to spawn, what you can do is you can place a row in the middle here and then make it so water will go on either side. You can place it so the water goes in there and then it deactivates, meaning that you can semi-automatically, or fully automatically depending on the timescale, farm mushrooms. Why would you need to farm mushrooms in this manner? Can you craft them to make mushroom blocks? No, you have to use silk touch on these. But still, mushroom farms are such a goofy one that would theoretically feed you forever fully automatically. It's like lava chicken, but for vegans, you know? Mushroom stew. Ooh, mushroom stew. Yeah, it's vegan as hell. Ooh, mama cheetah. Now I'm running out of lyrics. What's important here, though, is the fact that if the light level is 12 or below, mushrooms will grow on almost any and all blocks, including mushroom blocks. Isn't that delightful? Did you know mushrooms can also grow on any blocks they can be placed on, regardless of light level? And so if you want to know, can a mushroom grow somewhere? Just work it out that way. So next up, we've got mushroom blocks themselves. Like I mentioned, don't use a fortune hoe, use a silk touch hoe, and you'll find that you get these fun mushroom blocks back. This is a red mushroom block. This is a red mushroom block stem, and this is the same stem that's actually found on the regular mushroom blocks, as you can see right here. These stem blocks make a very good white block, in my opinion. Wonderful for building a house out of that has like vague sand, vague quartz vibes. But you can also use the red block I have to make a desert temple on my super flat world. Fun fact. But you can use this for all sorts of fun things. And technically speaking, these blocks are six-sided, and that's the only type you're meant to be able to get. But in survival, by placing new mushrooms, you can find the one-sided mushroom block, like I've got right here, or the two-sided mushroom block, like I've got right here, or get this, if you want to go really crazy, you can find the three-sided mushroom block, like I've got up there. In fact, I'll show you by stacking up. There are lots of mushroom blocks in Minecraft that can only be placed with commands, or weirdly, in survival. In creative, you cannot find this three-sided mushroom block, and I think that's really cool. The same exists for the brown mushroom block. There is a spongy side and a brown side, but if you use silk touch, you'll just end up with the brown side all around. Is that what you want? I guess it depends on the question. But it's worth keeping in mind that this is a survival exclusive tile, and so do with that information what you will. So yeah, this is, again, if we have commands, we can grab these blocks, and they're super, super strange. Look at that. Isn't that weird? Speaking of things that are weird, yeah, these mushroom blocks are all obtainable in survival. These ones are only obtainable by placing them with commands or by growing the mushroom naturally. So now let's talk about the warped high sci-fi trees. They've got the weirdest names, and fun fact, you can actually stem them just like this, or you can you can shear them like that. And yeah, they are mined with an axe. Isn't that great? Warp blocks and shroom lights can be mined using a hoe. Basically everything mushroom related is hoe. These are wonderful blocks, but they cannot be turned back into nether warts. These are nether wart blocks that obviously can't be turned into warp warts because those don't exist. And shroom lights are a delightful light source that it's worth farming these trees and getting the wood from just so you can get. If you want to have a really nice organic light source for your delightfully big builds, this is something seriously worth considering. Finally, if you use the stem blocks, you can make them into all of these variants. You know, we said there were 34 mushroom blocks earlier. It has to be said, or 34 mushroom items, has to be said a substantial amount of that is just the warped and the crimson variants, which, by the way, are getting a new block in the soon-to-be future because they're going to be getting the shelf variant of both of these. Anytime there is new wood variants, if it's not a boat, they're going to be getting it, which is something fun you might not have thought about. Anyway, with that said, there's one last thing that needs to be said. Did you know you can use mushrooms to craft mushroom stew? You probably did, but you might not have realized you can craft suspicious stew too. So this is mushroom stew. I guess I need to eat one of these right now just to keep my hunger going. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to show you this is mushroom stew. But this is, which you can make like that, but this is mushroom stew with a flower inside. The stew gets very suspicious just like my uncle after he drinks. And what's interesting to point out here is the fact that if you are to take this suspicious stew, it will give you an effect. Why is this so notable? Well, okay, if you use most of the effects, I'll show them on all the screen, they're kind of minor and not even worth considering, but there is one effect that is incredible, and let me turn off natural regeneration to show you what it is. If you've never played Minecraft with natural regeneration turned off, it's commonly called ultra hardcore because it makes the game way harder, because if you want to heal, you can't just get your hunger to full. I've turned it off right here, but instead what you need to do is you need to find healing items. Usually this is healing potions, regen potions, or golden or enchanted golden apples, but get this, if you make the suspicious stew that I just made, you can eat it even when you don't have hunger issues, and you'll get a fun little health boost from this. Although I didn't get it just there. Okay, I'm gonna get myself another brown mushroom. I'm gonna make it using the oxeye daisy. We're all gonna pretend that I didn't think it was the dandelion, because I'm not an idiot who can get this flower and that flower mixed up. But now, I'm gonna eat it, and look at this. I get this little regeneration effect, even if it's only for 2 health ticks, but that means by using a single flower, which is widely available, and which can be bone meal to make more of it, I just managed to heal a heart, despite my regeneration being turned off. It is a game changer for ultra hardcore, and that is something that I would keep in mind. Speaking of things that I would keep in mind, I hope that you have all enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two about mushrooms. If you want to learn some more things about suspicious stew and updates, did you know, as of the next update, it will be findable in the creative inventory? Okay, you know, I guess you wouldn't need to know that if you came here looking for a mushroom farm, but if you like learning all the random facts about Minecraft, I love doing precisely the same too, while I play Minecraft in super hard difficulties, and you can subscribe to see more of that daily on your homepage. Otherwise, check out the rest of the Ultimate Guide, because I've been IBXToyCat, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.